Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 256, recorded on Friday, June 23rd, 2023. Magic 8 Ball says, Outlook not so good. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Man, that show just started on us here. We were talking about Ted Lasso and the season finale, and all of a sudden Freddie's running a countdown. I had no idea what was coming up there. Here we go. Anyway, we have got a busy news week this week. I'm going to do half of the show in Eagle. So if you guys have not studied up on Eagle yet, it's a whole different language, not so difficult to learn. But
Watch our Azaz from this week here to get that little reference. That's a nice little plug there,
Watch the
Brett.
last episode of Azaz. You'll understand what I'm talking about. All right, with that, let's get right on into announcements and events. As always, we keep track of all of the events going on in the world of Zoho over at club.zenatta.com. That is our online community. Head on over there and check it out. People ask questions. They help each other out with stuff. It's all right there at club.zenatta.com. But also, we keep track of all of the events. They sit there on the homepage, but you can also kind of dive right down. And for us, as always, we've got our CRM Zen shows and our Azaz. But coming up in July, we have a webinar for not on just one product, but we're actually going to be doing a webinar on Zoho Bookings, Zoho Calendar, and Zoho Meetings. So it's going to be a triple product fandango there, and that's going to be on July 18th, a Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So be sure to tune in for that. And then, of course, the rest of the time is just Azaz and CRM Zen. It appears we have no CRM Zens in July. I don't know. They must have fallen off the calendar.
Well, I guess we're canceling the show. This will be our second to last episode.
Well, somewhere in here, what episode number was this? 250 what?
256? Was it
Okay.
256? Got goldfish memory.
That's good. That's good. So if today's the 23rd, so then...
Yeah, 256.
So the 30th is going to be 257, right? And so then somewhere, I guess, 21 days after that. So somewhere right around here, I'm going to guess July 21st. That's going to be our 5-year anniversary show, man.
Wow.
Crazy.
Time flies. Time flies.
Episode 260, if my math is right, correct? So 260 divided by 5 is 52. 52 times 5. Yeah, something like that. 5 years. Crazy, crazy. And also, we also keep track of all of Zoho's events, and they've got some good ones coming up as well. They've got Getting Started with Zoho Vault. That's next week, as well as Win with Analytics, Overcoming 5 Critical Sales Challenges. They've got a Creator Tech Connect series, which is running, all kinds of good stuff. So as always, head over to club.zenatta.com and keep up with all the latest Zoho stuff. All right, Freddie, let's jump right on into the news, shall we? So Tyler, pretty major little update. This dropped this morning, wasn't even in our news doc. About an hour ago it dropped. You can now integrate Zoho Writer with Zoho Creator data. Now, I didn't know that this wasn't a thing because you can have CRM integrate. We do that all the time. I was unaware that you couldn't use Creator for mail merge templates. So I would imagine this is probably considered a rather big
Yeah, it's a pretty big feature update there for Zoho Creator. This should work similar to in CRM, where it essentially now becomes a data source in a writer document. So you can just add merge fields from a particular record inside of Zoho Creator. You could, you could still get this done using Creator. You would just have to do it all with code, right? So you would just have a standalone template in Writer and then kind of script it out to fill in the data there. But having it natively integrated is a huge update, especially if it's the type of document that's pretty simple, where you don't need a bunch of logic and crazy stuff, where you shouldn't need to write code just to run that type of merge. Pretty big update here from the Creator team. I'm sure Josh is excited to see this one go to market.
What's interesting here is they're doing something. They're saying do flyers and brochures, and they're showing some images being niftily embedded. I'm curious if that's an image that's sitting on the back template, or if you're actually pulling the images in from Creator. If you are, I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Pretty huge, yeah.
So anyway, that's Pretty big update. So all of you creator users, life just got a lot simpler, a lot less custom code to do. And moving on with the news, Canvas module got a nice little facelift, or is getting one. It's early public access right now. If you're unfamiliar with Canvas, that is Zoho's little tool that allows you to go into your modules and completely customize them any way you want. Change the layout, move things around, make them pretty. It's gotten considerably better from the initial release of it. I don't know, have the scaling issues been solved,
Yeah, the
Tyler?
screen sizing has been solved pretty well. This is kind of an interesting update because this is specifically for like
Right,
list views and Kanban views.
right.
And those are actually where Canvas originally came out. Longtime Zoho users will remember that Canvas views for lists have actually been out since 2019,
Yep,
2018. It's been around really as long as I can remember. Then they kind of implemented Canvas views for records and did a way better job at that, right? Where there were way more customization and things you can do. So now they're basically taking the nice one that they built for the record view and bringing it up to the list views, just give
yep,
you a lot more control over that. So this is one of those things in Zoho that is super powerful, just being able to really customize the look and feel of different components in the CRM makes a huge difference for the users.
yeah. Done a super nice job with this.
It's like they got a
Good
tile
stuff.
view as well that they've added, so you can
Yeah,
show things as tiles instead of like rows and columns. That's actually really nice. They kind of snuck that in here, but that's its own update, really standalone.
yeah. Some really nice stuff. So if you're a Canvas person, uh, you can go ahead. This will be in our newsletter. This article, and in it somewhere is a click fill in this form. So you're going to want to submit that form to get early access to the updated Canvas list views. So good stuff. Good job, CRM team. And moving right along, Zoho Desk instant messaging feature updates. I went through this article several times this morning. So there's a bunch of stuff going on. What I can get out of this, Tyler, tell me if I'm right. A bunch of stuff going on with WhatsApp. Pretty much the changes here are based upon what Facebook is doing, right? What
Got
Meta
it.
is doing. Meta owns WhatsApp, and or Facebook owns WhatsApp, and so they're changing certain things. They're changing their pricing, but it appears to be that this pricing. I clicked on the links in here, and it takes you to Meta's pricing page. Um, and by the way,
Got
this
it.
pricing page is a deprecated page, but at the top of the page, you can click a link, and it'll take you to the new pricing model.
Got it.
Um, that seems to be what's going on there. And then you've got blended conversations now, so you can actually be speaking to someone as a human, and then or as a bot, and then go back and forth. I don't know, you never know who you're talking to anymore, but this is to foster harmonious camaraderie between our AI overlords and humans, I guess, is
And the
what we're
carbon-based units. Yeah, blended conversations are kind of cool though because you might be talking to an agent and that agent might realize that there's 4 or 5 sequenced questions that need to be asked. So they can kind
Yep,
of trigger that action, go take a different chat, come back once the user is finished, giving certain information to the bot. So it can definitely be a force multiplier, right, on support teams.
yep.
So yeah, nice to see that come to the
What I
chat
think
as
it's
well.
really handy is when you're in a live chat with someone and they say, "I need to verify your identity," and then you can tell they just push you through, right? They
Yeah,
they push you to a bot and it asks you all these questions, and then they go, "Oh, hey, thanks, great," right? So I think
exactly.
that, yep, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, and then you've got a template category updates here. So they made some changes to the templates.
And again,
Um,
it looks like this is based on the category and this is on the meta side, right? So they've
yep,
changed the categories. They've kind of consolidated from 14 to 3. And so as a result, Zoho needs to do the same, right? And just keep
yep.
things in line with WhatsApp.
And then you can now automatically close abandoned conversations, which is kind of nice. Rather than having to go in
Yeah,
and
why not?
manually close them. Once they're abandoned, you can do them. And then Meta has now also mandating OTP buttons for authentication templates. So you got those now. You've got your new OTP buttons you can do. So they're supporting those as well.
Nice.
And instant messaging is now available in Japan. Oh, and by the way, they also support Telegram, Line, and WeChat. So there you go. Good job, team. Seems like this is just Facebook changed a bunch of stuff in instant
Yep.
messaging.
And Zoho keeping things up to date.
Zoho is keeping it up to date. We've got that's going to be a theme of our show today. Companies changing things and Zoho having to make some changes on the back end. Alrighty. And moving on here, we have adding calls as a channel in voice of the customer. So if you're not familiar, voice of the customer is a feature that Zoho dropped into CRM where basically it reads emails, it looks at other things, and it kind of gives you a customer sentiment. Your customer's happy, what's going on, where are they at? They are now doing it with calls. And so I checked, if you read the whole article, this is really strange. If you are using the built-in telephony in Zoho CRM, which is based on Twilio, and this is not Zoho Voice, do not be confused.
Different. Yeah, important. This is different than Zoho Voice.
Right. Although I'm pretty certain Zoho Voice is based on Twilio, but I don't know for sure. But there is in CRM a Twilio-based voice, and if you do that, then basically Zoho is going to record those conversations, transcribe those conversations, and give you a sentiment based upon what's said inside of those conversations.
Got it. That's actually a pretty compelling feature to
Yeah.
get people to use that CRM telephony, right? I mean, there's entire companies that's whole business model is based around basically doing this, right?
Yep.
Sales enablement tools that have become pretty popular and pretty common that are really just built around this whole thing. Being that third party, kind of gathering data about the actual conversations happening
Yep.
and summarizing it. So that's pretty interesting. Um, you know, in my perfect world, they would be able to do this for any phone bridge integrated VoIP, but I get it, right? It's not running through their servers, right? It's just connected through to like Ring Central or these other platforms. So
Yeah, I mean, the
I don't
other
know
way
how they
would
make
be,
that work, but this is cool to see it come out for the CRM version.
yeah, I mean, you'd have to pass the recordings to it somehow, right? Or you'd have to pass a transcription somehow to it. But
Yeah.
anyway, nice. And it looks like they're using Google's transcription.
Speech recognition. Got it.
Yep.
Well, that's actually cool. I mean, why not just use best in class, right? Plug it in
Yeah.
and get the best results.
So cool stuff. So if you are into voice of customer, well, you can now take it to the next level with calls. All righty, and moving right along, the month that was in Zoho Workplace. This is interesting. This just dropped today. This article, and it was kind of going through here, and a lot of the things that are in here we actually haven't covered on past shows because it looks like they just kind of dropped them all into one deal here.
Got it.
So you've got a mail assistant. You can easily bring it up now with two strokes. It used to be you had more clicks to get to it. This is a big one. Mailbox delegation. Large corporations use this all the time. You see it in Outlook where, I'm actually going to delegate my entire inbox to my admin who is really going to do first swack at all my emails, right? And
Yeah.
whether they get to me or not, I don't know. So you can now do that inside of Zoho Mail, which is pretty big.
Well, that's like a need
Um,
to have because you might think, oh, couldn't you just share your credentials with a certain person that's supposed to do that? Well, these are your Zoho credentials. So this
right.
would also be for like Zoho Books if you're using books, or they'd now be admin in CRM and could export data. So it's especially in the context of the Zoho environment, you got to have things like that because you can't share just selectively and log in.
Absolutely right. Yep. And then this one I thought was pretty big too. Zoho Mail extension in Writer. So if you actually are in Writer and you're composing a document, you no longer need to export that document, go into email, create an email, attach the document. You can do it directly. There's a Zoho Mail extension now that lives inside Writer, and you can go ahead and send an email, send your document directly without having to go through any of those things. So that's a nice one, I think, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have file activity reports, delegation reports. The Zoho Calendar has now got a thing called rapid meetings. They help you shorten your meeting duration by altering the event duration. So you can, you can put a little short buffer between your back-to-back meetings. That's a kind of a built-in feature. Zoho Click, you can now call conversion from chat bar. So let me see. So the chat bar in Zoho Click has been enhanced with the feature that allows the conversion of one-to-one calls attended from the chat bar into group calls. Oh, that's nice.
So this is on your little bar in like the CRM, right? Your
Yeah,
little bottom chat bar. So you can now conference people in there. I actually find myself using that. I used to
I do
never
too.
use it, but I find myself more and more actually using that little bar if I'm in a different Zoho app.
Yeah, you can see just it's a quick way without having to jump over to Click. It's nice. Some ChatGPT changes. We wrote an entire blog post over on Zenatta about all of the integrations that Zoho's done with ChatGPT, so you'll want to check that out. New date and time format. Zoho Writer, you can accelerate document formatting now. That's nice. Zoho Connect, you've got a dashboard access for external collaborators. That's actually a pretty big thing. For those of you that use Zoho Connect, you got voice notes in Zoho Connect. I'll tell you what, go workplace team. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
they've been busy. They've been real busy across the board. Kind of do like that sneaky little writer one, setting like style defaults for
Yep.
documents. That's actually like a huge time saver. Like, hey, here's our company font, right?
Yep.
Here's the company header. Just being able to push that as a default for everybody is it's pretty nice on an org level.
All righty, and moving on, our next, we've got a little public service announcement, and this has come up for several clients. Matter of fact, you know who you are, and Hunter, pay attention because I think you're going to have a call on this next week with one of our clients. But a lot of people who are using Microsoft Outlook and Office 365 are finding out over the last couple of weeks that it is no longer syncing with the CRM. And that is because Microsoft has gone in and basically changed the way you can authenticate, and you now have to use OAuth authentication. Password-based authentication has been completely deprecated and is gone. So basically, head into CRM, click on settings, click on email configuration, and now they've added a nice little switch to OAuth button. By the way, this was not there a week ago because we were talking with a client and it just
Yes,
wasn't
they
there.
turned this one around pretty quick. I mean, it's a big
Yeah.
one. They got it. This has to go to the top of the list, right?
Yes.
Making sure that this stays functional.
Yes. So that 2 days ago they turned this on, and because I was actually in with a client with Hunter, and he was having this issue, and I said, well, maybe you just need to re-authenticate, and you need to did you change your password? He said, I don't know, but this switch to OAuth thing wasn't there. So now that it's there, go ahead and make that switch if you're using Office. This is just a huge chunk of the Zoho CRM population, I would think. So
Yeah, it's
it's
using
going
Outlook.
to be a big one. Yep. And wrapping up the news, kind of an odd little story, a little outlier here, but Zoho and the Israel Asia Chamber of Commerce have signed an economic cooperation agreement. Basically, what they're doing is partner companies with the Israel Asia Chamber of Commerce, the IACC, get complimentary access to for up to 1 year to 55 plus cloud-based applications by Zoho. So I don't know if this is Zoho One they're giving away, or just all their applications. But if you are part of this, then you can use Zoho for a year and try it out. So
It's really cool. It's
pretty
kind of like they had a program with startups, right? For a little
yep,
while, they had that startup program where they were kind of giving licenses away to companies and accelerators. So yeah, it's cool. I like when Zoho does this stuff. Good way to empower some businesses and maybe make some long tail revenue on the back end, right?
yep, yep. It's good stuff, and I guess it's in support of the Consulate General of the State of Israel in Dubai. Zoho said, because Zoho's got a big Dubai office, so doing some stuff there. So good stuff. So if you're not a member, join the Israel Asia Chamber of Commerce and get going with Zoho. So there you go. And with that, Tyler, let us head on into the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this one here is built out by our very own Josh Oliver. This is within Zoho Creator primarily, but you could do the same thing in inventory. This is generating product labels via Zoho Creator using some script and a third-party API. So in essence, the goal here was to make it easy for our customer to generate scannable barcodes, right? So proper kind of like UPC, scan it with a reader. That also included a couple pieces of information about the location of that product in a warehouse, essentially the bin and the pick number. And so what we did, set up a database inside of Zoho Creator where we're able to store the information about the products, right? So in this case, pretty simple info, SKU, item name, and bin location. Again, if you were using Zoho Inventory, you would just need to add a custom field for bin location. The other two, obviously, are default fields on the Zoho Inventory side in the items module. And so then the user can essentially click a generate label button once they've added in those pieces of information, and that kicks off the function that kind of runs the process. So what the button does is trigger a little function that invokes a third-party API to essentially create the barcode on the fly for that SKU. And it returns the image of that barcode to the function. We can also include things like the item name and again, that bin location, just to make it easy to find if you're ever looking at one of these labels. Then it will actually open a new page into a print screen. So if you want to just go straight from that to printing the label, you can do that. And then it will save that barcode connected to the product so that it can be used in the future, right? If you need to print new labels, you can just come right back to that record. Barcode's already generated with those locations and you are good to go. So pretty useful one here for people that might be doing some pick and pack, right? On a warehouse basis, you need to kind of have a little bit more than just a barcode on those labels. This is a pretty savvy way to do that. So yeah, big shout out to Josh. This is a good build.
Very nice. Very, very nice. All done in Creator.
Yeah, all done in Creator, but applicable to really anywhere that you're storing product data.
Very nice. Nice build out, Josh. I can see that a lot of our clients, we get asked for that all the time about SKUs and barcodes and scanning and bins. And, it's not really native to Zoho at all. So this is
not quite.
Not quite. Very nice. All right. Well, with that, let's look at a little more code. Let's head over to back to Club Zenatta and take a look at our code share of the week. Andrew Gritton, developer extraordinaire, has doing a scheduled dedupe in the CRM using Colt. Tell us all about this, Tyler.
Yeah, so we've done lots of different dedupes in lots of different ways within the CRM. Anytime that we're running scheduled functions nowadays, which of course a dedupe is going to be, we're really leaning harder and harder into Colt queries. It's essentially a little line of what amounts to SQL code that you can run against your CRM database. So in this case, we're essentially going through using Colt to actually pull a count of certain records so that we can identify, hey, there are X number of contacts with the same name, X number of accounts with the same, account name, whatever those parameters are that you want to check against. In this case, it looks like the dedupe is more of a function to identify duplicates, right? It's posting click messages with summaries of how many of those records exist in the system. Oftentimes, we'll actually guide people to use more of an approach like this than to have the function do the deduping itself, just because the function is never going to know what's better information, right? You've got the same email address, but different phone numbers on two leads. Right. Which one's better? Well, the script is only ever going to be able to get either like the oldest or the newest, or, it's going to have to make some blanket statement on it. So in this case, it's kind of letting people know where the duplicates are, how many there are, and what needs to be done to resolve them.
So how does this, I know it's scheduled, but why is this better than the standard deduping function in the CRM where I'm in accounts and I just click dedupe and it runs through the ones it knows are absolutely duplicates. It merges and then it gives you the list.
Big one here. This is like duplicate. We could almost rename this. It's kind of like duplicate monitoring. It's not going to dedupe them. It's going to notify you that they should be deduped.
Gotcha.
so that you
That
can
you maybe should go use the dedupe feature in the CRM
yeah.
because you've got dupes.
Or
Got it.
like check them if there's, hey, there's 3 of them. Let's just do it manually. Make sure we got the right stuff.
All right. Nice job. I love the fact it's throwing it over to Click.
Yeah.
So,
And this, I think, actually
that,
takes advantage of something new to COCOL queries, which is aggregates, like doing a count, doing a sum, like natively in the query. So this
right.
was probably the dev team having a little fun with this one now that that's available functionality, because that's a huge time saver. It's really
Absolutely.
nice to put that in.
So, Andrew, let's put this over on our CRM for accounts and contacts, please.
Yeah, honestly, why not?
And
Why
write
not?
that over to Click so we can go start monitoring that as well and keep those cleaned up. That will be very, very nice. All right. And with that, let's head over to Zenatta.com and see what we got going on over there. Well, Tyler, we had the month off for the webinar. Didn't have to do anything for the webinar. This and our Zoho Flow full product overview was done by Greg and Jordan. So they kind of went through all of Zoho Flow. And man, this is a good one. If you haven't used Zoho Flow, this is your step-by-step guide, everything you would need to know, an hour and 10 minutes on Zoho Flow. That's
Yeah.
about as detailed as you can get. So
Yeah.
if you
Well,
always
well
wondered
worth
how to
the
use
watch.
Zoho Flow,
Um,
which is, I guess, Zoho's version of Zapier,
yep.
you'll want to check this out.
Yeah, great webinar by the guys. Shout out to both of you for jumping in and getting that done. And Greg, of course, opened with a reference to The Odd Couple, which is a 70s sitcom. You'll have to watch and see how he works that into a webinar about a technical product. But it is Greg, so you know that he's going to do some weird stuff here and there.
Yeah. And nice job, marketing team, by actually creating an entire article based around that webinar, because there was a whole lot going on there. So it kind of breaks down all the stuff we talk about and everything that's going on there. And as always, while you're over at Zenatta.com, you will probably want to check out our resource library. That's where we keep we categorize all of the Zoho apps, all of our videos that live over on YouTube. We actually categorize them here as well. So if you click into any app, we're going to break down all of our videos, put them into nice little categories for you, kind of help you go through the entire thing. I actually had a call with someone the other day who just wanted to thank me because they were able to get their entire CRM and several other Zoho apps completely set up and done just by watching our videos and going through the whole thing. So check out our resource library if you haven't done so yet. And Tyler, let's wrap this thing up by talking about our tip of the week. So Wayne has been on a tear lately, and this one is on reply tracking alternative to Zoho campaigns. So he basically has put together a nice little 6-minute video that shows you some other ways to track your replies and to keep track of those. So very nice.
Yeah, I think a nice video here. I mean, it's cool to show this alternative. The big thing here is that when you do reply tracking, it'll have it reply to a like weird, A1Z7 at senderinsights.com, type of response, which then does forward through to you. And it's actually, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see it here. And that kind of might make them not reply, right? Because they think they're going to email Brett at Zenatta, and now they get this weird sender insights domain. So Wayne is kind of showing off a little workaround here of how you can still do reply tracking, but have it show a little bit nicer on the front end for the customer. So big shout out. I actually didn't even know about this. This is one that I wasn't aware of before I watched this video. So if it educated me, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to be aware that there's more than one way to get this done. So thank you, Wayne. This is awesome.
Yeah. And if you don't know, if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, we would love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where we post all of our videos, and we are up to a lot. We're up to like 5 a week now. It's almost 1 a day that we're putting out there. So be sure to head over to our YouTube channel, and you will not want to miss episode or issue number 14 of Azaz. I don't think we've laughed any harder. And I was completely unhinged. So, it's
I
worth it.
blame you for that. You took it. It all started when it took you 3 takes on the intro, because you opened up. You're like, I'm nailing this first try. Like, this is gonna be so clean, and then you just goofed it immediately on the intro, and that really just sent the whole thing.
I kept crashing it over and over again. I know. And then I did it again. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, worth checking out. Please head over to our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you would subscribe. Gosh, we're at 11,200 subscribers. We are growing and growing and growing. We want to thank everybody for their support. Well, Tyler, that is going to bring another episode of the CRM Zen Show to a close. We hope everybody has enjoyed the show. Have an absolutely fantastic week. And if you'd like to get a hold of Tyler or myself, you can head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting. We'd be happy to talk with you and see how we can help you with your Zoho needs.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And as always, we would appreciate if you would like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.